What is up, Block fam? Exciting video today. We are standing in front of the brand new Harley-Davidson Sportster S in beautiful downtown Los Angeles. On the ride with me, we've got her two wheels for the press event. We've got Chase on two wheels over here as well. We also have Aaron from Women Riders Now. And I have chosen one of the maroon Sportster S's. Man, there's a lot of information to share with you guys on this thing. I haven't even thrown a leg over one yet. This is going to be all first experience, so we'll drop some of the B-roll, give you guys some of the details on the bike. We're going to go do some press shots and stuff, and then we're going to get into more of a ride. I think we're going about 100 miles or so today. I think a little over 100 miles, they said. If you guys have any questions on it, drop them in the comments below. Let me know. I'll answer to the best of my knowledge, but hopefully we can answer most of y'all's questions in this video. Alright, throwing the leg over. So I got on, starting here, press the button like you said. Same as the Pan Am. So we're not going very far in this little first leg where it's mostly for photos, so not going to be able to provide obviously like too much information in terms of like lean angle, all that stuff. But I did want to get my first experience, throw my leg over this bike, starting it up and all that stuff. Oh, nice. Pulling out onto the streets of downtown LA. This is the first time I've ridden a motorcycle in California. That's a hell of a way to start, I guess, on the new Harley-Davidson Sportster S. Alright guys, so just going over controls here. Yeah, you've got your starter, which is kind of a toggle switch, or your on-off, which is kind of a toggle switch, and then you press the button in to start it. You've got your mode selection, which is going to change the mode here, and the gauge, fully integrated. You've got your hazards. This looks like audio options. Very similar layout into the controls as the Pan America. And then below that, you've got your traction control selection and then like a speech command thing. Woo! So I'm hitting like some of the access portals or manhole covers, whatever you want to call them. And suspension feels pretty good. Definitely a lot better than like the current model Sportster. The current model Sportster, the suspension is not the best. I love that it has bar end mirrors because I can actually see behind me. Usually when manufacturers put the mirrors like here and they come out of like the perch, I can't see anything because I'm like looking at my shoulders, looking at my arms. The fact that it has bar end mirrors off the bat, love it. I mean, look, you can see everything. It's awesome. As you guys can see, the indicators are plenty bright. LEDs, LED tail section there as well. So that's what the back of the bike looks like. Got your exhaust high swept up on the right side. You've got the fender little tailpiece, holds the license plate, holds the indicators, all that stuff. It's totally designed to be taken off because I know that's going to be one of those things that a lot of people mention. I mean, you can kind of see it here on Jess's bike, how it's all bolted up to the side, but totally designed to be taken off. All right, controls on the left, high, low, pass, cruise control, heated grips. You've got your selection here to change trip A, trip B, odometer, temperature, range, all that. Selection here for menus, and then changing menus here as well. So you press there, you've got a bunch of stuff in the gauge, which we'll go over as well whenever we're stopped. Indicators on the left side only, so you don't have left and right side indicators like a lot of previous Harley-Davidsons. The gauge is absolutely beautiful. It's really, really vibrant, very clear TFT. gas tank. It is designed, it's keyless. I know for a lot of sport bikes it's designed similar where you flip the flap up and like insert the key, but no key required here. So just straight up, press down, clicks in. Oh yeah, you've got your horn underneath here as well. Nothing else under there. I've got the forwards on it, so that's pretty much what the ergonomics of the forwards look like. It's honestly pretty comfortable. I definitely don't feel squished up or anything. The tank on this thing is like super low, so I mean, my knees are pretty much even with the tank. They designed a lot of the bike around the engine, and it's not your normal tubular frame design. Like the engine is actually part of the frame. So whenever coming to a stop, you know, we're talking about seat height and all that stuff, a lot of you guys are concerned about this exhaust. So when I come to a stop and I've got like hands off bars, my feet are on the ground, my knees are slightly bent, I am flat footing it. My concern was the exhaust here, and the back of my leg is kind of touching the exhaust. If I lean it to the right a little bit, it pretty much does away with that. Coming to a stop and stuff, I would probably single foot it. So I mean, as you guys can see, Mr. Wyman in front of us is single footing, so right foot down, left foot up. You can kind of feel the heat coming off the exhaust a little bit. This is a great suspension test. Looks like stop number 1, I guess. Art District, Los Angeles. All right, guys, we are doing some press shots now, which Chase is happy for because he doesn't have to have a chase car and all that stuff. And
I ain't organizing.
right? He gets to be laid back. So we'll go ahead and cut some footage of that, post up some of the press shots. Hope you guys like them, and yeah, then we'll continue to the next leg. Change Moto over to Sport, see how it feels, get on it a bit. Woo. Oh my god, dude. This thing has some power. So that was my first real kind of pull on it, and holy sh. Yeah, I was sliding off the back of the seat. So I guess it'd be a good time to show you guys the difference between the modes and like acceleration. So throw it in rain mode here, get a pull on it. All right, rain mode, full throttle. So much more tame, power delivery isn't as strong. Go ahead and switch over to road mode. Turning radius on it feels great. All right, getting on it via road mode. Guys, this bike is fast, like legit fast. And now we will switch over to sport mode. Yeah, guys, quite a difference between each mode. Pretty noticeable. God, guys, this bike is fast as f. All right, second part of the ride, leg 2. Just so you guys can see, this is what the mid-control mounting looks like. 2 points here, bracketry, and bracketry that also comes off of the rear brake piece. And that's what it looks like on the left side. Same kind of skeletonized bracketry. All right, let's go over gauge. Using these features here, so the button here basically makes it change to GPS, and then over to music, over to diagnostics and whatnot, and then settings. You have to have a phone connected to do the GPS. It is not built in, so you have to connect a Bluetooth device to use the navigation. Music, same kind of thing. You have to have a device connected to play music. If we go into here, it basically tells you the PSI of the tires, the temperature of the coolant, and the voltage of the bike, and then you can press there to go into diagnostics, which it will show a diagnostic screen. So if we go to the next one, into settings, you got general, ride customization, appearance, Bluetooth, phone notifications, and software. If we go to general, we got trip reset, adjust date, HD app, time sync. Adjust clock, clock format, units, security pin, display language. And then ride customization, ride modes. So I'm just in road mode. Settings are locked while in motion. It's probably smart. Alright, so I go back, then you can change appearance, screen brightness, that's fine, Bluetooth settings, phone notifications, and software. You press the home button to go back to home. So there we are. That's the gauge, usability and whatnot. Really looking forward to this leg of the trip. So cool, man. We got the Wymans in front of us. Professional racers. So we are going to be hitting some highway. So I'm interested to see, obviously, how the bike feels there. I can already tell you, since, you know, obviously no windscreen, that probably be taking a lot of wind to the chest, arms, helmet. But they do make a windscreen for it. The bike that they had on display had pretty much had a lot of accessories on it, so if you guys do want a windshield, they do offer one from the factory, as well as a couple other trim accessories, grips, levers. Oh yeah, one of the things about the grips is the grips are actually a little bit smaller than your traditional Harley grip, which I think they said they did some research into in terms of like the bike feel. But yeah, they're thinner. They feel a lot more like, you know, sport bike grips. Harley bars are traditionally 1 inch, and then I know metric stuff is usually 7/8, so it allows for a smaller grip, but these do feel like a smaller grip. Regarding the feel of the shifter and transmission, whenever you're going, I mean, you can feel the shift, but it's definitely not as prominent as some of the other like Harley-Davidsons that I've ridden. We're also talking about like a totally new design and model here for Harley-Davidson, so it's gonna, of course, it's gonna feel different. So as you guys can see, the suspension is adjustable via the knob right there on the back, just under the part of the seats. I want to say like the seat cowl. So torque is incredibly useful in traffic. And so what they've done with this engine versus the Pan America has more horsepower and less torque. And the Pan America is more aimed for off-road riding. So torque is incredibly useful, you know, for city riding. You know, you're wanting to basically get up to speed, get in and out of cars, especially like California. If you got lane splitting going on, it's pretty awesome that it's legal here. Unfortunately, it's not legal in Florida, where I'm from. Torque is definitely a lot more useful around town, commuter style application for a motorcycle. So I think that was definitely the right move for Harley-Davidson to take away some of the horsepower, you know, retune the engine to give it more torque in rain mode. You know, it's still damn fast in rain mode. And then in sport mode, it's just a whole other monster. So I've got it in road mode just because we're, you know, around town and stuff, and I don't want it to be like crazy touchy. But as soon as we get up into like, you know, the canyons and we're hitting some twisties and stuff like that, sport mode is awesome because the throttle responsiveness is much snappier. And that's good because coming into turns, you're trail braking, and then whenever you're coming out of the turns, you want to get on throttle and you want that power to be there. You want that responsiveness to be there. It's awesome to have like those different rider modes. And like I was telling them earlier, whenever we had a meeting, I was talking about the front wheel mitigation, like FWM or something like that. It's basically wheelie control. So I was asking like, how good is wheelie control? You know, like, are you able to give it 100% throttle and not have to worry about looping out the bike? And they said, yeah, unless you turn it off. So it basically has like the front wheel speed sensor. It's going to make sure that that front tire stays on the ground. I'm a big fan of the forwards. I know a lot of people are talking about the mids on this ride. There's only 2 bikes that have the mids. I'm 5'10", and this is pretty much what my legs look like on him. He's 6'2", and that's what he looks like setting on the bike, riding it. It's like how his rider triangle is set up, and those are forward controls. 6'2", like, he didn't look cramped up. I don't feel cramped up at all. I don't feel like overextended either. I just feel like with mids, you know, bringing it back right here, like I don't know. I'll try and sit on it just to check it out, but I'm a fan of forwards. All right, here we go. Some highway testing. 6 gears on a Sportster. Yes, please. I love that. People have been asking for that for, oh my God, how long? I don't even know. A 6-speed Sportster, guys. It's finally here. Hell yeah. So 6 gear at 64 miles an hour. I'm going to downshift into 5th. I'm at 4,000 RPM. The awesome thing about this bike is redline is like at 9,000 RPM, which is so untraditional for a Harley. Usually a Harley redline is like, what, 6.5? But dude, 9,000? That's awesome. We got so much more room to go in this freaking rev range. It's a lot of room to play. Oh, this is beautiful, man. Every time I come on a press ride event, it really makes me consider moving out of Florida. Look at this. You know, surprisingly, despite it not having like front windshield, I don't feel like I'm getting blown around at all. I mean, there's not really any wind, which is awesome, so we're not getting basically like any crosswind to fight. It feels solid, feels planted. Wider tires are obviously going to keep it from being, you know, as flickable as something with like a skinnier front tire, but it feels good. Low speed maneuvering on this thing is great. The fact that you can just really like lock the bars over, pretty awesome. So yeah, we're going to continue on highway, and I'll resume whenever we get a little bit closer to the route. Right? Not nuts.
Oh my god, vertigo.
Ah. It's crazy how fast we went from downtown to let it up here.
I know. I loved it.
Crazy. All right, back to it. Let's go ahead and swap it over into sport mode. Woo. So after that run up, what I can say about this bike thus far, very impressed. Responsiveness feels great. Ergonomics, very comfortable. Despite the seat being a little thin seat, it's actually pretty comfortable. I'm not feeling it like my lower back and my butt, anything like that at all. I will note this, since there is no little fender piece cover in here, you do tend to get some of that stuff thrown on you and on the seat, but forwards, I'm comfortable with them. I didn't feel any lack of like responsiveness or feeling like in touch with the bike. I wasn't able to scrape it, so I'm gonna try to scrape it like in this turn. But the lean angle on this thing is freaking awesome. No issues thus far. Loving it.
Are clear when you're ready.
Thank you, sir. So we are headed back to LA. We're going down the canyon. I'm not really sure how far out we are, but figured I would go ahead and give my thoughts and opinions on the new Harley-Davidson Sportster S based on riding it today. Absolutely love the lean angle. The fact that like it's really difficult to scrape this thing is awesome. I mean, most Harleys that I've ridden I can scrape really easy. We're getting this thing in the canyons and I'm going around turns, and I scraped one time, learned the limits. Dude, this thing, it leans. You wouldn't think, because of the beefier front and rear tires, that it would be as easily maneuverable as it is, but we were talking earlier whenever we were at one of the stops. Can you guys see how that front tire is shaped? It's got kind of like a conical shape to it, like it goes up to a point, you know? That makes it incredibly easy to like just throw around, no problem. The aesthetic of it, it still just looks like a muscly, you know, kind of stance to a bike. Like whenever you park this thing and you cock the wheel to the right so that front tire is sticking out to the right, man, it looks so good. Good job, Harley-Davidson, in paying attention to that. One of the things of feedback that multiple people said, her two wheels, Jess, Chase, I believe, said it as well, and then Aaron from Women Riders Now said it, they couldn't believe how light it is. The way that the center of gravity is on this thing, it just, it handles really well. It feels it feels great. The suspension, that's a great segue into talking about the suspension. Suspension also feels really nice. One of the things is whenever getting into turns, like whenever you're leaning over like this and you're hitting bumps and whatnot, it's just predictable, which gives you a lot of confidence. It is fully adjustable in the front with the inverted front forks. It's adjustable on the rear. Brembo brakes on this thing, which is just, you know, ultra premium when it comes to braking. The bike has 121 horsepower as per what they say, and an increase in torque. I can't quite remember what the torque number is But yeah, increase in torque over the Pan America, same displacement in terms of engine. Torque, much more usable, like city environments and whatnot. But what's nice about having that torque and horsepower is that with the rider assistance, you don't have to worry about like pulling back throttle as hard as you can and looping out the bike. And since it has like the TCS, you don't have to worry about the bike basically washing out from under you. If you don't want it, you can turn it off, which is nice of them to, you know, offer that as an option. And then you can adjust the levels of it, which is super cool. You know, you've got like your couple of different rider modes, which is, you know, rain mode being the tamest, road mode being the middle ground, and then sport mode being, you know, the sportiest. You've got those different rider modes, but then you've also got the ability to make your own ride modes as well. And so like right now it's in B mode, which was done by, I want to say, Kyle Wyman. He basically put it to have the responsiveness of 100% like in sport mode, and then a minimal, like less engine braking, so it still does have some engine braking, less ABS as well, which you can tell the difference of the bike. And so you can go in there, you can fine tune it and tweak it, which is pretty damn cool. So with my test ride videos, I do like to offer a criticism of the bike that I'm riding, just because like no bike out there is perfect, right? And so I would say my criticism on this was probably the seat, and I expected the exhaust to be way more hot on my leg. Whenever you're moving, it's totally fine, but whenever you're in kind of stop and go traffic like we are in, you know, LA coming up here, it doesn't burn your leg, but you can feel the heat coming off of it, you know. And then if you're, you know, on a hot day, you're gonna feel that on your leg for sure. If you guys want to know anything in particular about this bike, be sure to comment down below, let me know, and I will answer to the best of my knowledge based on this experience. Definitely a big special thanks to Harley-Davidson for inviting, you know, some of us YouTubers out here to let us make videos and get thoughts and opinions on these bikes. Super cool. Really appreciate the opportunity. There you guys have it. Harley-Davidson Sportster S.
First of all, it was a wicked fun bike. Small and quick. So for the lower inseam rider, you don't have to give up performance anymore. This thing is your bike. Super comfortable, tons of power, great in twisties, great in the canyons. I rode the front control one. I felt comfortable the whole time. The mid control, I think I would choose the front control. Honestly, for me, I kind of like that a little more lean angle that you got out of it.
Right.
That's it. I think if I were to buy the bike, which I just might, I would put and I tend to ride a little bit more longer distance.
Right.
I would put a thicker seat on it, because for long distance, you're gonna get a little tired.
Yeah.
And then I would also put their windscreen on it.
Yeah.
Other than that, right out of the box, those are the two things I would add. Other than that, awesome bike.
I love the bike, you know, within all seriousness, I think, you know, super happy what this, you know, kind of stands for the new Sportster, and it's reset the bar like we want it to in terms of performance. The modular architecture allows us to just do so many things in the future that are going to be super, super exciting. And I think you guys, you know, you experienced it today, that the bike, you know, the bike is surprisingly capable. And I think it's sort of, you know, people look at the form factor and make some decisions in their mind, and then they get on the bike, and you guys have ridden it now. I think you probably have a different point of view about the motorcycle. I'm Brad Richards. I'm the Vice President of Design for Harley-Davidson.
We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having us. If you guys have any questions on it, like I said, let me know. Drop them down in the comments. Big thanks once again to Harley-Davidson for the opportunity. Really, really appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed the video, if it was insightful for you, if you guys are considering getting one of these bikes, be sure to hit that like button for me. If you guys are considering getting one, post up down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon also, so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. So next time, you guys ride safe out there, stay vigilant. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.